going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario, and I'm actually going to be combining two things into one in this episode. This is going to be my Nintendo episode. I'm going to be ending, this series of gaming goofs. Not completely, but I'm going to be ending it by talking about, what Nintendo kind of did wrong this generation, of course, like I did in the other episodes. But I don't have as much to complain about when it comes to Nintendo, so instead of, making this episode and making another one, I just decided to combine two. So because Nintendo is last this time around, I'm going to let them be first with the next-gen talk. I think it's only fair, and in addition to that, the Wii U is technically the only next-gen system that is out. Yeah, I know it's technically a next-gen system, but I'm going to save that for the second half of this episode. So first off, huge shout-out to everyone. I'm ecstatic, honestly, that people really enjoy this series and that people are actually interested in it. So I don't know how many people will be interested in the Nintendo portion, but, you all are sticking around for it. So first off, Nintendo, what can we cover? Well, I want to include the DS in there because there were so many things, so I'm going to include it in there. But technically, the DS didn't come out this generation. It came out last generation. But so many iterations came out that I'm just going to talk about it. That's the first thing I want to talk about, actually. The DS... It's a good system. It's a good portable system. I think it's a great system. It has great titles. It's definitely awesome for kids. This past Christmas, I actually got DS Lites for my younger brothers. The problem is, though, there are so many variations. First, we had the DS. Then we had the DS Lite. Then we had the DSi. Then we had the DSi XL. Now, I personally own a DS Lite. This is my favorite out of all of them. And one big thing, actually, I was with a friend about a week ago, actually, and he decided on a whim he wanted to buy one. So we went to a game shop, and I said, hey, if I were you, since, you want to run a flash cart and all that, you should just get the DS. You're not going to have to deal with updates. The DS Lite, you're not going to have to deal with updates or anything, and it's $10 cheaper, and personally, I think it's better. Excuse me. So, he ended up getting it. As soon as he gets it, he's like, wait a minute, I just realized I cannot play over Wi-Fi. That was one big thing. He had to end up returning it and getting the DSi just because these systems, the DS and the DS Lite, did not have Wi-Fi. Why Nintendo did not include infrastructure Wi-Fi on here, I have no idea. When the DS came out, the PSP came out, and it had infrastructure Wi-Fi, why they didn't incorporate it on the DS Lite, not a clue. But then the DSi was out, it had cameras everywhere. DSi XL came out. Then, I got the 3DS right here. The 3DS came out, which I'm still happy with, honestly. I really don't use it too much. It probably gets the least amount of love out of all my handhelds. But 3DS came out. Then the 3DS XL came out, which I just don't like all these versions coming out. But at the same time, I have played on XL, and I can say it is nothing short of awesome. It is awesome. I was completely shocked at how good it was. I was expecting, it won't look that good, but it looked damn good, honestly. And I kind of held back. I was like, I kind of want to get one and get rid of my original 3DS, but I'm like, no, I still like the 3DS. I'll keep it. I don't want to spend any more money. I'm good. So, that's the thing with the Nintendo, with the DS Lite. I don't think they did too much wrong there. It's just they released so many versions, so many variants that really confused the consumers. When I worked at a game store, it's like, oh yeah, well, we got this, well, my son wants to, it would be stuff like this, just like, my son wants to get a DS. Well, what version do they want? Well, he just wants the cheapest one. Well, here we got the DS. Well, are there any others? We got the DS Lite. Well, what about this one? Oh, this one's the DSi. Can it run DS games? Yeah. Well, he wants to play Game Boy Advance games. Can it run those? No, it can't. Why not? Because you have to get a DS Lite or an original DS. Well, can it run Game Boy games? No, it can only run Game Boy Advance games. So, it caused a lot of confusion with that. Also, there were some games that were DSi exclusive. I think you can play them on the 3DS as well, but, Nintendo always likes to cut corners when it comes to backwards compatibility. It's like, we'll let you be backwards compatible with last gen, but not really the gen before that. But at least they're doing it this time around, honestly, unlike, the days of the Nintendo and Super Nintendo where they didn't do that. Now, when it comes to actual consoles, I feel like I can be included in this one. This is also why I want to make this video. I just picked up one of these. I just got a Wii. Now, it's a bit out of shape and all. It needs some love, and honestly, I do have a Wii, but I ended up giving that to my younger brothers. It was 2 years ago. I bought it with the intent of giving it to them, and they really enjoy it. I can say it is definitely, the Wii is really the best family system and the best children's console that is out right now. But this system, honestly, I was I didn't really want to get it, but I was thinking I could turn it into a really awesome emulator, and it was so cheap that I really couldn't say no, so I actually own one now. So at least I have one here that I can play around with, because I do want to play Silent Hill on there, but I don't really want to run an emulator, and I held off on getting another Wii for a while. So, the situation with the Wii, well, first off, Nintendo did a lot of things right with it. We had motion controls, which, you know, the PS3 had, with, actually, I got a PS3 controller right here. I just picked this up as well because it was really, really cheap. PS3, okay, sweet, it's DualShock, I wasn't 100% sure. PS3 had 6-axis, the motion controls we talked about before. The Wii also had motion controls. This is stuff that had not been done in mainstream gaming before, which was innovative. That's why the Wii was originally called the Revolution, because it was something that, you know, you actually got into the game. Now, one thing with the motion controls, and the reason why I brought up Sony is because, you know, this is back when I was in middle school when it came out. We had tons of debates, and people were saying, oh, well, you know, Sony had motion controls first, technically, so Nintendo stole from them. But Nintendo based their entire system around motion controls, while Sony threw in 6-axis support as an added bonus, and later it kind of dropped off the face of the earth. Because, I mean, honestly, I just played, sorry to go back to Sony, but I realized this summer I just played The Last of Us, and I didn't use 6-axis on there once, and that was a big Sony exclusive, so just goes to show you 6-axis is pretty worthless. But anyways, going back to the Wii, completely based around motion controls. Really cool. I remember I don't like sports games at all, but the first time I ever played a Wii, the second time actually. The first time I ever played a Wii, it was at a GameStop, and I played Excite Bike, I want to say. Or I think that might have been it, and it was interesting, but I really wasn't too into it. Second time, I played a freaking Tiger Woods game. And I was on there for like 30 minutes because it was literally the only game where, you know, it was fun and you actually felt like you were golfing. Instead, you know, just doing something like this with your controller, you actually swing the controller. So, you know, when it comes to the Wii, I will mess around with sports games a bit. It also came bundled with a game, Wii Sports, which is, you know, undoubtedly, honestly, one of the best games on the Wii. And technically, because it was sold with every single Wii for a while, it is the best-selling Wii game on the Wii and one of the best-selling games of all time, if it is not the best-selling game of all time. This generation, in case it's changed, I don't know 100%, the Wii was the best-selling system for a while, and I think it still might be. And that was another thing, you know, PS3 comes out, $600. 360 comes out, $400. In comes the Wii, $250. Next-gen system, really awesome style of playing, and it comes with a free game. I mean, I remember the local Walmart here and all the stores here, they were getting 12 Wiis in a week, and every single, like this was for almost a year, every single time they got the Wiis in, all of them sold out. I think it took almost a year until I finally saw like a Wii in stock somewhere, and I went and there was like literally one Wii left at Walmart. That was it. So they were selling like hotcakes. People, you know, this was the system that you lined up for. I remember I just took a business class this past semester, and it was funny because I was talking to my teacher about this, and she said that she really regrets, and sorry, this is just going off onto another tangent, but she really, really regrets not doing this. When the Wii came out, she had to be Santa, and she had to get it for her kids. So she waited out in line at GameStop for them to open. She bought a Wii for $250. As soon as she exited GameStop, a guy cornered her and said, "I'll give you $500 for that Wii right now." She almost took it, but then she said, "No, you know what? I'm going to turn it down because my kids want this for Christmas. I'm going to give it to them." She said she regrets that decision years later just because she lost out on $250 and, well, making a $250 profit. And her kids stopped playing it after about 2 or 3 weeks, which kids sometimes do. And it really depends who they are and all that. Now, the Wii, I would say, you know, it's a good starter system for many kids, you know, because, you know, this generation's gone on for quite a while. Technically, it started in 2006, 2005, and it's coming to an end. Not even an end, but the new generation is coming out in 2012, 2013. So, you know, many of those kids, you know, they start out with the Mario games and such, you know, they're playing them. Let's say they're like 8 years old, and, you know, taste change and all that. You can't get Grand Theft Auto on the Wii. You can't get a good Call of Duty game on the Wii. You know what I mean? So, it was a real good starter system, and honestly, for young kids, it's still great. I mean, my brothers will still play their Wii religiously. I'm about to complain about something that nobody has covered in any videos I've seen. This system is the only system this generation that does not have any type of parental controls or locks on it. Now, my younger brothers, they have all three of the systems. I've given them to them, and they got the handhelds and such. But on the PS3 and the 360, I'm able to control, how long they play, a weekly timer or a daily timer. I'm able to control, what the top rating for movies they can watch is, what the top rating for games they can play is. I was shocked when I got the Wii. The Wii was the last system out of this generation that I purchased, and there were no controls there. And I was like, really? This is a kid's system, and you're not going to put any type of parental restrictions on there. I was quite shocked that Nintendo did that. But, I don't know, it is what it is. Or there might, honestly, because I can't boot this one up right now, there might be a rating option on there. But I know for sure there's no time option at all. There's no time option. I know that 100%, which I was really shocked with. So I don't know if they corrected it in the Wii U. I have the latest Wii update, and it's not on there. On the Wii U, if it was corrected, I really don't know. The only other thing I really have to complain about with the Wii is Wii Motion Plus. It pretty much with the Wiimote, you had your motion controls and all that, but then a few years ago, Wii Motion Plus came out that was even more accurate, and it was just an extra thing to buy. It should have been implemented with the Wii from the start. There should have never been a Wii Motion Plus. They should have just put, the best type of motion sensors they could on there, and then release them. And I feel like, thinking about it right now in my head, I feel like they didn't do that just because they didn't want to put the extra research and development in at the time, because if they did, it would have cost more money, and the system overall would have cost more. But I feel like, I think the Wii Motion Plus add-on is, less than $20, $30? And it would have bumped it up to, let's say, $300. And that still would have been cheaper than the Xbox or the PS3. Now, yes, $250 is cheaper, and it's a more welcoming number, but I feel like, they could have averted that. But at the same time, it sold quite a lot, so Nintendo does know what they're doing. Other than that, it has GameCube backwards compatibility, which unfortunately Nintendo did pull a Sony and later removed on other revisions of the system. And also there's another version of the system, of the Wii Out. There are the ones with GameCube ports and such, the ones without GameCube ports, and there's a version called the Wii Mini. And that was, honestly, that was a terrible thing to do, just because nobody knows about it. The only reason why I know about it is because there was one person who made a video on it. That was it that I saw. And friends I've talked to, I've mentioned the Wii Mini, and they don't know what I'm talking about. They think I'm making up something, but no, it is a little miniature version of the Wii, smaller than the regular one, has no GameCube ports or anything like that, and it's $100. So that started being sold right before the Wii U came out. So that was also a bad decision on their part. But, aside from that, yes, the system does have last generation graphics, but I think it was a very successful system overall, and there's nothing really to complain about. Oh, and there is a thing called the green dots of death, where the system, kind of has a general hardware failure. But I'm pretty sure I can count on one hand how many Wii's I've seen that have failed. And that includes disk drive issues. Now that we're done talking about this gen, we're going to go ahead and talk about next gen. So here we're going to be ushering in the next gen. So Nintendo had the liberty of ushering in the next gen, being first out with the Wii U. Now, I think they've dropped the ball pretty hard. First off, the Wii U. Just let that name sit with you. The Wii U. Why didn't they just call it the Wii 2? Because there's several people I've talked to, and they have no idea what the Wii U is. They're just like, oh, is there a new Wii out? Yeah, it's called the Wii U. Wait, what? What is that? If they called it the Wii 2, it would have been okay, or even the Super Wii or something. Nintendo's never been a person to drop a number at the end, like the PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. They've had the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64. These are all sequels, but they're not sequels. Then the GameCube and the Wii. So they try and make everything different. Now, if they just called this the Wii 2, it would have been fine. But unfortunately, people don't know about it. The Wii U is also, unlike the original Wii really encouraged you to, play together in a room, play locally, which is also another reason why, honestly, the online network for the Wii wasn't that good. You had friend codes and all that, and I didn't touch up on that much just because it's really not a big online system. But that was corrected in the Wii U. Now it's similar to, PlayStation Network, Xbox Live. You have your name. You don't have these ridiculous numbers that you have to enter in. And now there's, I believe you can talk as well. I'm pretty sure there's some type of headset available for it. But, we went from this nice, wholesome family system to a tablet. That's it. Like, you're limited to this thing right here. You're going to be playing on just something like this, except it's much bigger, obviously. So we went from, a family thing to almost a solitary thing without being too solitary. And in fact, that was another problem. When they first announced the Wii U, they were talking about this tablet that was out. And one of my good friends did not think that the Wii U was a completely separate system. He told me, his words were that the Wii U is only a tablet. It's a tablet-like controller, but you can connect the Wii U, the tablet, to your original Wii. So you don't have to get a whole new system. Later I explained to him, and when it came out, I proved it to him. The Wii U is a separate system. It is a separate system you have to purchase, and the Wii U tablet that he thought was this system itself is merely a tablet. It is merely a controller that is with it. Now, is it nice? Yes. I mean, the battery life is kind of a killer on it, but it is interesting. The problem is developers really aren't harnessing it too well. And this is where the Wii U starts lacking. First off, when the system came out, you had New Super Mario Bros. U. So, barely even a sequel to the original New Super Mario Bros. You had Zombie U, which I've played, and it's interesting. It's a good game, but it is definitely not the killer app that the Wii U needs. Now, when the Wii came out, most people were buying, the new Zelda game that was out. That was out when the system released. So, that was a real good thing for it. But the Wii U, unlike the original Wii, did not come bundled with a game or anything. And then you had two versions. You had the 8GB model or the 32GB model. And I'm pretty sure it's 32 gigabytes. And really, nobody's buying the 8GB one. I don't even know why that one was released. You might as well just get, the 32GB version. But in today's day and age, 2013, is 32 gigabytes really enough for a system? You got the new systems coming out, the PS4 and the Xbox One, they're going to come default with 500GB hard drives. So you can't tell me that 32 gigabytes is enough for a system. That's just like, when the 360 came out and it had that 20GB hard drive. You can't really do much with it. You're going to fill it up easily. Now, when it comes to developers for games, there's really nothing big out. First off, I don't like EA, but EA is not doing anything for the Wii U. They had some type of fallout with Nintendo. I don't know what happened. But if a big company like EA has dropped you, then that's pretty bad. First off, the Nintendo Wii is not, the Wii U, excuse me. See, I keep mixing them up. That's the problem. If it was called the Wii 2, I wouldn't do that. But the Wii U is not getting the new Madden game. Which, doesn't every system get the new Madden games? Whether you play them or not, that's a pretty big indicator of how a relationship with the company is. The Wii U is not getting Crysis 3 either. In fact, there was a version coming out for the Wii U, and it was done, and it played fine. But then EA said, you know what? No, we're going to release it on PS3, 360, PC, but just go ahead and shelve the Wii U version. We know it's done. We know it plays fine, but we're not going to release it. So there's some real bad blood between EA, which whether you like EA or not, I don't like EA. They're one of the biggest gaming companies in the market, so pretty good indicator of how a company is doing. There's also, the Wii U is supposed to be getting, the better versions of things. First off, this isn't really particular with the Wii U itself, but that game Aliens Colonial Marines that came out that was completely god-awful, that was supposed to get, the director's cut, the best version of Aliens, but there was a developer who went onto Reddit, a QA tester who went onto Reddit, and he said that it was actually going to be the worst version of the game. And the problem is developers really aren't harnessing the tablet itself too well. It's supposed to, bring more interaction and such, but honestly it's just kind of a second screen that seems a bit useless most of the time. Now, I will say the Wii U does have some games that are going to be coming out that do look great. The new Mario Kart looks awesome. Smash Bros, that's going to be awesome, but here's the problem. They're coming out. They're not going to be out until 2014, so what I want to know is, why didn't Nintendo just wait a little bit? They could have waited. They could have made the system better. It doesn't have an Ethernet port, just like the original Wii. I really don't know why they did that, but it doesn't have an Ethernet port, so online isn't going to be, super awesome. It will be subpar, I guess, because wired over Wi-Fi is normally going to be better. Also, they decided to pull a Sony thing, which I really didn't understand too much. I feel like they took what happened with the PS3 and did this on the Wii U. They said, how can we screw up our system? And they did this. By that, I mean one big thing is the Wii U has 2 gigabytes of RAM. Technically, because the Xbox One and the PS4 are not out at this time, technically it is the most powerful system out. But They did weird stuff with the CPU, GPU that makes it all confusing. It's almost PS3 level. It's not developer friendly. It really isn't. And with the RAM, they end up splitting it. 1 gigabyte OS, 1 gigabyte games. I don't know why they didn't add in more RAM, but I'll put it like this. The Wii U is struggling to play games from this generation, and it is a next generation system. I remember one good article I could think of was there was an article when Assassin's Creed 3 was coming out, Ubisoft was toting, and they said that the Wii U version of Assassin's Creed 3 is going to be running 99% as well as the PS3 and Xbox 360 copies. And at first that sounds quite good, but then you gotta really think about it. What are they saying? Even if it's 1%, technically, a game system from 2005 or 2006 is going to be playing a game better than a game system from 2012. That is the problem. The Wii U right now is nothing but a port system. It got, that Batman game, Crysis. No, they didn't get Crysis, my bad. I was thinking of another game. I don't know, it's ports. That's really all that's on there because there's not much good original content on there. Now, there is that new, Luigi Super Mario Bros. Game that's out, but that's really DLC, if anything. And again, that's really not going to be pushing systems. Now, if Super Mario Galaxy 3 was on there, if there was a new Zelda on there, Smash Bros., it would be selling like hotcakes. But the problem is, you're going to get this system, and there's really nothing to play on it. There's one post I've seen, when the whole Xbox One, PS4 debacle was coming out, people were saying, hey, the Wii U is a good system. It has free online. It has good online. They give you discounts. It's backwards compatible. It doesn't have any DRM. Give it some love. And people were coming in, they said, yeah, it's a good system, but it has, maybe, there's no games on it that I'm dying to play. And that's the problem. It's really lacking software support. And Iwata and Nintendo really know about this. Every time there's a Nintendo Direct, Iwata comes out and he says, we apologize for this. We are sorry for the inconvenience. Sorry for the delays. We know support hasn't been good on there. And the problem is it's going to start losing third-party support pretty quick if it doesn't get anything out. Because people are seeing that the Wii U is not selling well. It's not doing well. People are, they'd rather save their money for another next-gen system or even a PC or even get a current generation system right now. That's why I got the Wii. The Wii is still a good system, but the Wii U, really nothing for me to get. I'm probably going to do the same thing, next generation. I will get a Wii U at one point, just when it's really cheap. Just like I did this generation with the Wii, and when there's actual titles on there. But aside from all that, Nintendo's just doing all sorts of wrong with the Wii U. And it's disappointing because they literally had a 1-year head start. They had a 1-year head start with the system, and they really didn't jump on it. If anything, they've kind of tarnished their name a little bit. Just because nobody... The people that know about the Wii U really don't like it. The people that don't know about the Wii U are quite disappointed in it. They're laughing at it. Honestly, there's no reason to own a Wii U. At least from what I see. I mean, you could play games, the games that are out on there, most of them, as I said, you could play on these other systems that are cheaper, that are more than likely going to be running better. And later on, let's say like 5 years from now, games are going to be great on the Wii U. I'll say that because developers are actually going to be able to harness the power and such. But, I don't know, it's just disappointing. And even the software titles that are on there, it's not the worst launch in history. Like, honestly, the launch titles that came out on the Wii U are much better than the launch titles that came out on the PS3 or the 360. This is literally the most powerful system that is out on the market right now, and nobody's hyped about it. So, Nintendo, I don't know what's up with you. It's not like you're going to go bankrupt anytime soon, but, fix this Wii U issue. For any Wii U owners or people wanting to get a Wii U, 2014 is going to be a good year for you, but aside from that, no, there's really nothing big coming out. I mean, we just had Pikmin 3 out. Yeah, that was actually a game. Pikmin 3 just came out, but I'm really not sure how many consoles it's moving off shelves. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario, signing off. Thanks for watching, and if you are at the end of this video, I got a question for you. What do you want me to cover first? The Xbox One or the PlayStation 4? I will be covering both of them, but I'm going to check the comments, see how many people made it to the end of this video, and, I'll pick from there. If more people are voting for one system or the other, I'll go ahead and pick it. So, this is Mr. Mario again, signing off. Thanks for watching. And next episode, I'll either be talking about the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4.